Video game flash fiction. This is a timed writing game where I will be selecting one of these Atari 2600 games, slotting into the console, playing the game, writing a flash fiction story inspired by the sights and sounds, and read it at the end of this time. I'm going to press this timer right now for 90 minutes. I'm going to roll these two dice to select the game so we can make this fun and more of a game. I have a 8-sided and a 6-sided dice. I'm going to use the 6-sided dice first to roll the column starting from 1 to 6. 4, so we're at this column right here. I have an 8-sided dice for the row from bottom to top, 1 to 8. 1. Okay. Wow, this will be a imagination creation today. I dig to the bottom of this pile without making too big of a mess. It could have been interesting, but it might still be. For today's video game, flash fiction story, one of those telegames with two different names. We have the one that's on the front, simply called Race. And then, of course, on this text cover, it says Auto Racing. For 1 to 2 players, well, let's see what Auto Racing gives us for today. I'm not seeing whether the joystick or the paddles are used. We'll find out. Okay. That's Auto Racing right there. Whoa. So it is. It's like do I want the paddles? I feel like I'm in. Oh man, it's like Formula One almost. That's what, or IndyCar. It must be the paddles, because I'm not able to move. Wow, that sound that's intense. Here's the one-player game. All right, so I can go up, go down, go up. Yeah, I think I need the paddles. I'm going to try the paddle real quick. I'm going to pull this long wired mess out and be really awkward. I'm going to let that sound go. I'm going to turn it down a little bit, though, because, boy, that can play on the soul after a little while. If I listen to that thing over and over and over, I can start to hear the pattern as if it's like an idling engine, which is kind of fun, you know. It does sound like an old combustion engine, not the high-tech ones of today that purr like kittens instead of rumble like dogs. If only. What a mess. What a fun mess. Nevertheless, at some point, you have to untangle the mess. And it looks like the game's over. Just time game. Reminds me of Combat. Let's see if this makes things better. I'm supposed to be writing a story called Race. So I'm just trying to play the game. And let's see which of these, if it is a paddle. Oh boy, this will be really annoying if this is not. Is that really the way? It's not a paddle game. Unless I use it with the one paddle. Let's try that. And then I can come back to the other joystick. It'll become part of the game, I suppose, or part of the story. I'm not giving up yet. There is the legendary one single paddle. that you didn't use for Pong sports. Maybe. Oh, there we go. It is. It's the single paddle for driving, it says, and not the dual paddle for Pong. And I think this is what I want. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now I can race proper. Now it's actually, well, now it ended. It's a timed game, so it's called race. I feel this is some like junior karting event. Jeez. I don't know. That sound is rambunctious. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. Maybe. I'll get in my gamer mode here and get bad posture. I am terrible at this. I'll blame the paddle. It's sensitive. Maybe if I do it like this. I don't know. I'm having difficulties. Obviously, it's not the joystick that it was. I think this is the first time using the single paddle for video game flash fiction. I've used the dual paddle in the past. And we have the single paddle that works for this game. Fantastic. Let's try to write some sort of story. Called Race. I'm going to use the name on the front and not the one on the back. Although, maybe I should roll the dice. Because if I called it auto racing, I could make it about something really boring like AI, so let's not call it auto racing. Let's just call it race. What's on the front? Race is. Assuming that I don't have a file named race already. I don't. And there's a story. Yeah, let's play this game again. Then we know we have a file open. I can say I've done something. Now that's I'm getting a little better. I mean, it reminds me of like karting, go-karting. Small, you know, this ain't no like winding Formula One track or like what, an oval Indy track? Indy tracks are still oval, right? I don't know. How little I know about IndyCar racing. Oh, come on now. See, that's a little better. Ooh, ma'am. Why? How is that other person getting like 10, 12? Is that? Oh, that's time counting down. I see. There's a timer right there. I didn't even notice that. Well, I made it 5 times around. I feel a little successful. Although there's nothing been written, so I don't seem like I've done anything, because I haven't wrote words yet for this race story. Got some allergies I got to deal with. There we go. Race. Yeah. We could have this as like a deeply metaphoric. Is that the right word? Probably not. We could have a story that has deep meaning. Or I could have just a light and fluffy one to get through the day. I'm going to set my mood on something like some societal tension. So my thought right now is I could make this just about a fun race. maybe like father son at a go-karting facility, or mother daughter, or father daughter, or mother son. I'd roll the dice for that, and they can just have the fun experience the first time in a go-kart, and then they could talk about how it's like driving or something. That's sort of what's popping in my mind for the fun, non-depressing story. So the other one would be, we could use the word race as some sort of story, which I wouldn't be. This is what I'd have to probably fictionalize too much. About the obvious, probably, I mean, the racism within the upper class of even Formula One, IndyCar, or NASCAR. I'm sorry, but there's still deep-rooted racism likely, that I've read about still existing, and people have talked about, documentaries I've seen. But I don't know it well enough, and I'm just not. I do that in 90% of my other writings that I do on a daily basis, where I delve into society's hatred and of each other for some reason. Most reasons not valid. Not saying all aren't. Let's go with the fun story. Let's go with race at a theme park. And it's going to be, there's just going to be two. This is up to a 2-player game. And since you start out, when you turn the game on, the first setting is for the 2-player game. And I am going to roll the dice for the gender. There'll be an adult and a kid. And I'll roll the dice for the gender of both of them. Because I'm more concerned about the interaction with parent-kid than I am some larger. I gotta call this out. Usually I go 1, 2 female, 3, 4 male, 5, 6 pronouns. 6, and I'll say the first one was for the adult, and then a little girl on a go-kart. Okay, I like that. The adult, I'm gonna have be just like the figure of authority, and almost gender-free, because it's just the authority, but a good kind of authority, but a parental authority nevertheless, and then a young daughter. And she's on the go-kart for the first time. That's probably, man, this is going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. It's easy for me to go to dystopia. Let's not. For this, amusement park. How old is this kid? And then that can sort of be the basis of the age of the adult, the parent. Or maybe just the adult. Maybe it could be like that. No, it'll be a parent. And it'll be a weird relation, which I've experienced, where the kid calls the parent by their name and not some title. And then I can have a shout out, have someone else sort of throw the title on there. I don't know. I need to start writing something, because I'm already feeling behind and talking too much, and it's 15 minutes in. I need a name of the place. Would be like Fun Switch. Fun Day. Card and Golf. Fun day, kart, and golf. I want to start this off with dialogue. I don't know. Man, this is difficult. We should, the one that above at the game was above this one was one called the beefsteak tomatoes, which is maybe kind of a riff on Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. That would have been, hey, I can go crazy. This I gotta pull from the depths of life and create a loving story that's full of charm and togetherness. That's hard, especially when the world doesn't want that. It feels like something to be mocked these days almost. Feels weird. I'm gonna get that sound back. The rumble of the go-karts. A fun day, kart, and golf. Thrilled. I gotta think. I mean, I just Kelly, thrilled Kelly. For the race. The rumble of the go-kart, a fun day kart and golf, thrilled Kelly. Her favorite parent. Sat in their cart. Waiting for lights out. How old is Kelly going to be? I think she's going to dominate. She's going to win. But I think it's going to be a serious competition. Yeah. Maybe it's going to show the aggression. It's going to be like someone who's really into karting. The same for play. This is for practice a little bit. I mean, it is at fun kart and golf, but still, you got to start practicing someplace. And if you got a place with a golf car, with a go-kart track, you're into karting, that's where you go. You got the money for it, at least. Her favorite parent sat in the cart next to her, waiting for lights out. The rumble of her go-kart. Her custom favorite parent and co-mechanic of the go-kart. Sat in their go-kart. There we go. That's a little bit better. There's at least words that will maybe create a story about racing or race. I like the idea about the race better, but I think this is better for my mind right now. Some innocent competition, some successful sporting, not all the darkness that seems to potentially be surrounding us more and more every day. The rumble of a custom-built go-kart. What does it do? Thrills Kelly. Her favorite pennant code mechanic of her go-kart sits in the go-kart sits in their go-kart waiting for lights out. Lights out. The rows of red lights fill. Then lights out. Pressing pedal. I always get this word spelled wrong. I get it mixed up a lot. Pedal. Gas pedal. Yeah, pedal. Not pedal. Pedal. Words. Pressing the gas pedal. I think this works. I don't know. I guess what I don't know, maybe I'm going to play the game a little bit more and I can hear the sound again. I got 60 seconds. Okay, so there's a 60 seconds race. Man, it's a small course. I guess it'd be like, now that we have the time, it'd be like the amount of times they can get around. Whoa there. So this, man, she's not doing too good. I'm not doing too good. Maybe this is the parent. No, the parent's good. I think they're both good. They're both better than me than I am at this. Maybe. Okay, 7 times. So we'll have it like 9 times is their record, and they got 60 seconds. Well, if you want lights out, you go time. Lights out. And the 60-second counter counts down. Let's see. This is just yeah. So the rumble over custom go-kart at the Fun Day Kart Thrills, a Fun Day Golf and Kart. I'm going to put an ampersand there just to offset it, make it seem more like a title. Thrills Kelly, her favorite parent and co-mechanic of her go-kart, sits in the seat of their go-kart, waiting for lights out. The rows of red lights filled and lights out. Gas pedals pass, tires squeal. Squeal? Squeal, squeal, squeal. I have no idea. They do something with tires against the surface of something. Pressing the gas pedal, tires squeal. Kelly, her favorite parent, she calls something very generic, or not very gender generic, I suppose, or gender free. Kristen. Called by the first name Kristen. Of Kelly's go-kart. Sits in their go-kart waiting for lights out. Then lights out. We'll put a number on this go-kart too. The rumble of her custom-built go-kart. Number 3. The rows of red lights filled and lights out. Pressing the gas pedal. Tires squeal. Kelly and Kristen press back into seats. As they zoom, what's the shape, the track, the short track, the short oval track shaped like an 8? That's what it will be. I need some sort of soothing massage in my head to kind of calm me down and get me focused right now, because this is feeling a little bit, I don't know, uncertain. Uncertain of its quality or of its worth or why. Fortunately, I have an hour left and I think I got the flow of this. I'm not sure how this is going to go, though. I feel as if, like, there's conflict, the race, but it seems a little shallow right now. Like, I got to add some backstory. Lights out. So let's get inside. Let's do some head hopping here. I'm just going to head hop both of them. Give them some deeper motive. Kelly needs to improve her track time and take over. Kelly needs to improve her track time and takeovers before the race in Arizona, the karting race. I'm just assuming that the amount of money it takes to create a Formula One car will attract all the rich people, and it's a new horse and pony. So it should get pretty popular in America. It already is starting to spread. I know of it a hell of a lot more than it did years ago. They're starting to have more races and more circuits in here, and I think even they got another team. Anyway, it's prime money, and so it's perfect for the American oligarch to want to show how much money they could spend to see a car race and go fast. I'm not poo-pooing upon it. I find it interesting, but it'll at least give some reason for this story to exist in the United States and not some other country that actually has a far stronger F1 following and loyalty, as opposed to loyalty to other racing organizations like NASCAR. So that's where my mind's at right now. This definitely looks like karting. Indy, I'm just going to go karting because it's a small track. And it's got some curves to it in the shape of the actual game mechanic thing. Looks like a kart. Ooh, and the driving handle here for race actually looks like more like an F1 or an Indy car. Let's go ahead and play this a little bit more. So this would be Kelly. Kelly. She needs to improve. She's a much better driver than I'm letting on to be or simulating. She doesn't gonna spin out. All right. I have no idea. Let's go ahead and back to the story because I'll hear the sounds. I got 24 seconds left in this race, and they're gonna stall out, or just stall. I guess if they stalled out, maybe their engine wouldn't be going still. Anyway, Kelly needs to improve her track time and takeovers before they race in Arizona next week. Christian likes to dominate. Since they were a child. And loves. And loves beating Kelly around the track. They're weighing nearly twice as much as Kelly, with both driving similar karts. They tell themselves what do they tell themselves? They tell themselves something. They tell themselves they enjoy. Just because I don't know what that means. I don't like. I mean, the hand-eye coordination, that's just what I don't understand about karting. I understand youth sports when it comes to things like baseball and football and basketball. I could probably fictionalize, and I have fictionalized those sports through the eyes of a young human child in America. But karting, while familiar, and during the very distant past, when I was around 17, 16, 15, that blurry time now in my mind, I helped build a go-kart. I wasn't the main mechanic of it. I invested in it and got a motor for it and did a little bit of work, but not a whole heck of a lot. But it was still part mine because I invested in it. And it was cool. It had a centrifugal clutch. Went pretty fast. But it was nowhere near the sophistication of any of the go-karts that I've seen through documentaries and even live at times on oval tracks go as fast as the one that I had helped invest and build. Loosely on the build part. The person who fitted the clutch and the motor, and it was not me. And the frame, we'd actually bought the frame and everything from somebody else, so we didn't have to make the frame or weld the frame. That said, I've got some experience, but I don't got sporting wise experience, which is I'll just fictionalize and fail maybe here. But I'm assuming where I was going with this that, I mean, the coordination that you have when you're 10 improves the muscles, and just being able to go fast and not and be under control and reactive. It's a trained thing. And as you get more mature and more control of your body, it'll just improve. I would imagine, like it does with all sports. So I'm going to use my understanding of sports and having witnessed progression in people playing sports from a young age to an older age to just apply it to this story as well. And maybe make something that doesn't seem terrible. No, taunting enrages. And causes her to think too much. Where Kelly needs to improve the track time and takedown of it before next week in Arizona. Kelly's annoyed. She's never beaten Christian. There we go. On the way to something here. I'm not certain what. But it's being written. Do want to capture this screen real quick. And then write on. Maybe play the game a little bit. I got to get into the zone. I think I'm in the zone. So I've at least set up that she's never beaten Christian at the Fun Day Golf Cart. The thought. Over and over, like the thought. What would have frustrated her, so I can just further reinforce? Christian built and raced carts. Since they were a child, and loves beating Kelly around the track, despite their weight nearly twice as much as Kelly, with both driving similar carts. They say after winning time after time, just because you beat kids your age don't make you great. Christian knows taunting enrages Kelly and causes her to think too much. Thinking too much makes you lose. He says often to Kelly. Especially after Kelly peers. Shows her frustration with the peer. The rows of red lights fill. Their engines rumble on the track. Cart engines rumble on the track like tanks ready for battle. The rows of red light above the track fill. Then lights out. Pressing the gas pedal, tires squeal. Kelly and Christian press back into seats and hold heads as they zoom around the snorting oval track, shaped like an infinity sign. Lights out. The 60-second counter counts down. Oh, we have at least the counter now. The 60-second counter counts down, pressing the gas pedal, tires squeal. Kelly and Christian press back into seats and hold heads as they zoom around the snort oval track. Let's go with the short oval track, shaped like an infinity sign. Let's get rid of these words and letters. Then we will finish this story. What's going to happen? I need to think. Let's play the game real quick and we'll find out. So I think is what's going to maybe happen is she wins. Like, you don't write the story where she loses again. But then I got to write like a couple things that make it like I would know if this was a sport. If this was a story about baseball, American football, or basketball, I would not be concerned about being able to quickly write out some sort of montage of events that would lead up to the critical moment when there's the conflict gets resolved and either she wins or loses for the first time, the last time. But I could have those sort of meaningful montages of action that show the skill, that be able to show the capabilities and the knowledge and the togetherness and the training. But I don't. Instead, I've got some vague sense of understanding of what it really takes to go-kart. I have go-karted before, but I am not a professional karter nor a professional racer. So fictionalizing and lying about it right now is kind of difficult. She's going to win. But I've already set it up that she has this thought trapped in her head. So maybe I'll go with that. That's a, in my opinion, a sport-wide flaw in the human soul when you're competing. You think during training, you shouldn't be thinking that much while you're swinging a bat, passing a football, kicking a soccer ball, passing it, or driving really, really fast where you have very small distance between you and another fast-moving object or a solid object. You don't want to think about what you're doing. Now, if you can get into that mental calm state where somehow you don't have to, you're thinking about everything but where you're at right now, maybe it can happen, but when I've done things sporting good, I wasn't thinking about doing it. I was doing it. Let's write that down as a bit of wisdom they give here. Christian shouts, don't think. "60 seconds counters count down." Kelly mumbles, "Don't think, drive, don't think, drive, don't think, drive." Kelly mumbles, "Don't think, drive, don't think, drive," thinking and driving while she thinks and drives. Skidding on the outside. Skidding, what is that stuff that you have on the... Skidding on the... Skidding around the curves. And racing through the... rubber pebbles. She thinks about spinning out, not catching Christian, who turns the corner ahead. Last week's, when she was passed, while thinking how much time she had. She thinks about last week when she was passed, while thinking how much time she had. Thinks about the engine. Putting just a bit off. She thinks and sees Christian pull away and turn again. Halfway, half a track ahead. All right, so she's thinking, what's going to cause her not to think and win this race? I've got 37 minutes to rationalize this, so will it be the shout again? Will it be rage? Will it just be a zen? Oh, come on now. This is Kelly's trying to make it around. What's going to be changing her mind right now while the story's... Like, what rage thing? Is she going to spin out? I don't think she's going to spin out necessarily. Like... She presses brake when she should have pressed gas. What's the result of this? That's what she presses. She thinks and presses gas too slow and brake too fast. She spins out once but finds correction and continues on. She hears a laugh and a shout. Christian, I'm coming up behind. Passing. What's the trigger? I don't know the trigger. Why is she all of a sudden going to be focused in some zen state? Why? I don't have that story right here. I have something. Yeah. She hears a laugh and a shout from Christian. I'm going to pass soon. Her hands grip. And foot presses pedal. Rage, maybe? I'm not losing. No. No, she says. What? Don't think, drive, see the end. That's better. Now I got to write that back into, I don't know what here. I don't know. Her hands grip and foot presses pedal. No, she says to the car. Don't think. Don't think, drive, see the end. See me to the end. Kelly says to the car. Like it's I think this is going to be the trigger right here. Lead me. See me to the end, car. And finally, and then it clicks. Like a strike. Like a I'm trying to think of a compulsion is like a compulsion, combustion. Combustion? I gotta spell right. Like a combustion motor striking fire. To discover. She realizes. Are more than a trained mind. Attention, doubt, spread from her mind through her body, and feel to mold with the car. Extension. Tires touch. And her engine moves. As they both drive after Christian. Her tension and doubt. Let me get rid of some of these letters that I left tension and doubt. Spread from her mind and through her body and fills. Left and right. They sway and turn and cut. I think it'll be a tie. No, she's going to win. I think it's going to be a win. I'm going to make it the win. I want someone to win today, even if it's a fictional character in the story I write. And in a definitive way, not just like, they win the race, but they also win the ability to understand life a little bit better and make them more successful in something they seem to care about. They do care about. It's my fiction story. I don't say seem. It's not as if this person's another individual outside of my own extension where I have to assume or make assumptions about how they are at that time. Left and right, they sway and turn. Turn and cut the lines to race behind Christian at the time, as the time counts to 10, 9, 8, 7, 'Kelly cuts, slides around corner, nearly brushing Christian's cart, tire to tire. Then zooms past as 3, 2, 1. A horn blares. We won. There we go. That's the story. Let's play the game one more time. Let's read this aloud and be done for the day. This time, this night, this whatever. And I do get better at this. Like I've progressed. There's video of this. I'm less terrible, but I still need to practice. Become one with the cart. Have better view. Race. All right, I got seconds, so I got a time limit. I don't think I made it around this track all one time without hitting a wall. And yeah, even when I tried to slow down right there to make that corner, it didn't work out for me. Let's see if I can get down. I think I have 7's my max. Let's see if I can get a... Oh, shoot. Come on now. I thought. I don't think it's going to happen. No. Shoot. I really wanted it. But sometimes in life you don't get what you want. And I can always play the game again and again and again. So it's not as if it's not accessible to get that additional lap of 8. Because I think my record has been 7. I am going to turn off this timer right here so it doesn't blare loud in case I can't read this in one go. I played the game again. It was a fantastic game. It's called Race. One of the original ones, I suppose, because it's still a telegame, which is an indicator to me that it was old, much like myself. Older, actually. Likely. For today's video game, flash fiction story, inspired by the game called Race. The rumble of her custom-built go-kart number 3 at Fun Kart and Golf thrills Kelly. Her favorite parent she calls by their first name, Christian, and co-mechanic of Kelly's go-kart sits in their go-kart number 99 waiting for lights out. Kelly needs to improve her track time and takeovers before they race in Arizona next week. Kelly's annoyed she's never beaten Christian on the track at Fun Day Kart and Golf. The thought tumbles in her mind over and over, like the thought of the drive last week, telling her that her engine she built looks like a junkyard. Christian built and raced the kart since they were a child and loves beating Kelly around the track. Despite their weighing nearly twice as much as Kelly, with both driving similar karts. They say after winning each time after time, just because you beat kids your age don't make you great. Christian knows taunting enrages Kelly and causes her to think too much. Thinking too much makes you lose, he says often to Kelly after Kelly shows her frustration with a peer. Their kart engines rumble on the track like tanks ready for battle. Christian says loud as the first rows of red light appear, "Don't think, drive, see the end." The rows of red lights above the track and starting line fill, then lights out. The 60-second counter counts down. Pressing the gas pedal, tires squeal. Kelly and Christian press backs into seats and hold heads as they zoom around the short oval track shaped like an infinity sign. Kelly mumbles, "Don't think, drive, see the end. Don't think, drive, see the end," while she thinks and drives, skidding around the curves and racing through rubber pebbles. She thinks about spinning out, not catching Christian, who turned the corner ahead of her. She thinks about last week when she was passed while thinking too much about the time. She thinks about the engine sound puttering just a bit off. She thinks and sees Christian pull away and turn half a track ahead. She thinks and presses gas too slow and brake too fast. She spins out once but finds correction and continues. She hears a laugh and a shout from Christian, "I'm going to pass soon." Her hands grip and foot presses pedals. "Don't think, drive. See the end." Kelly says to the car, "See me to the end." Like combustion motor striking fire to move the car. She realizes to listen to her body and the car more than the trained mind right now. Her tension and doubt spread from her mind and through her body and molds with the car like an extension. The tires touch and her engine moves, and they both drive after Christian. Left and right they sway and turn and cut the lines to race behind Christian as the time counts to 10, 9, 8, 7. Kelly cuts and slides around the corner and brushes Christian's cart tire to tire. Then they pass as 3, 2, 1. A horn blares and Kelly shouts, "We won!" That was a video game flash fiction story for today called Race. And with the words written and the story read, the inspiration will be again someday. For now, it's time to go about. Let's turn this game off. Let's go about our time finding ways to, I suppose, inspire creativity, others, and why not love? In sporting competition, there is a togetherness that I think is constructive and brings people together. So let's go find a way to, I guess, play together better.